Welcome to Stories for Wonderful Children. I'm Dan Wendelin, your host and storyteller. Years ago, I began recording the bedtime stories I told my children every night. Now, we would like to share those stories with you. I hope you enjoy my Stories for Wonderful Children.
There is a turtle named Froggy, which is a rather unusual name for a turtle. He lives in a house of his very own, with a swimming pool and a garden in the backyard. He likes to grow tomatoes and eat them himself, right off the bushes. One day, Froggy was eating tomatoes when he thought to himself, I'm a turtle, and I have never been to the ocean. I should go. So he packed up a few of his belongings, got into his little car, and he drove to the bus station, and there he got on the bus, and the bus drove and drove and drove for a very long time, until Froggy began to wonder if they would ever reach the ocean. But just as he was beginning to wonder that, they did indeed reach the ocean. Froggy got his things, got off the bus, and he went straight down to the beach. He pondered for a moment whether to build a sand castle or go for a swim first. He decided he wanted to go for a swim, and then build a sand castle, and go for a longer swim. Well, he swam out into the water, and being a turtle, he was a very good swimmer. So before long he had swum quite some ways away from shore, and he was diving underneath the water when he saw a great shape coming towards him. It was the largest animal that Froggy had ever seen, and as it approached him, he realized that it was a whale. Wow, said Froggy. You are enormous. Why, thank you, said the whale. That's a very charming shell you have there. Thank you, Froggy said. What's your name? My name is Magnuminous Magnignus the Third, said the whale. But you may call me Maggie. Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, Maggie, said Froggy. My name's Froggy. Your name's what? Froggy. Wait a minute. You're a turtle named Froggy? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. That's pretty funny, though. Say, I was wondering, I'm in close to shore because I'm missing one of my friends. He's a little crab. His name is Trevor, and I haven't seen him for quite some time. He was going to swim into shore, and I don't know what happened to him. If you see him, would you tell him I'm looking for him? Sure, Maggie, said Froggy. So do I have to be getting back now? I'm going to build my sand castle. So he swam back to shore, crawled out on the beach. He decided to build a sand castle of the wall type that you built right down on the ocean, and you had to build the wall faster and higher to keep the waves from knocking it over. He dug in. He started with his shell towards the ocean to sort of break the impact of the waves. And he dug and dug and dug. And he hadn't dug very long before he hit something in the sand. And as he unburied it, he began to feel that it was a shell of something. And as he unburied it more, he could see it was a red shell. And then as he unburied it all the way, he realized it was a crab. And he began to pull the crab out. And he saw that the crab was fine. He'd just been buried in the sand. Froggy said, Hey, are you all right? Sure, said the crab. Thanks for rescuing me. He said, I was crawling along the beach and a dog came along and grabbed me up and dropped me in a hole and then buried me with sand and I couldn't get out. He said, I'm Trevor. He stuck out a claw. Oh, said Froggy, you're Trevor. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Froggy. Say, your friend Maggie was looking for you, and she wanted me to let you know that she was looking for you. Oh, excellent, said Trevor. She promised me a ride across to Europe to see what kind of interesting shells and beaches they have there. Oh, said Froggy, that does sound like an exciting adventure. Well, I hope so, said Trevor. He said, Hey, before I head out to meet Maggie, can I help you with your sand castle? Sure, said Froggy. So Froggy and Trevor together dug that sand as fast as they could, and pretty soon they had nice high walls that even the big waves couldn't knock over. And then Froggy said that he would swim out with Trevor to make sure he found Maggie okay. And they swam out, and before long they could see through the water that immense shape of Maggie swimming along. Trevor said, "Hey, Maggie." "Oh, hello, Trevor. Are you all right?" Trevor said, "Yeah. Fortunately, our new friend here, Froggy, helped me escape from some sand I was stuck in." "Oh, excellent. Are you ready to go to Europe?" "Absolutely. I've been looking forward to seeing those beaches." "Well, I'm about to leave." "Okay, well, bye, Froggy. Hey, Froggy, you want to come to Europe?" Froggy thought about it for a minute. He didn't really have any reason why he had to get back to his home. He didn't have any pets, and he had already eaten most of the tomatoes for the season. It was about to get cold. He thought, this may be the only chance I ever get to see Europe. So he said, sure. And together with Trevor, they grabbed on to the back of one of Maggie's fins, and with a great beat of her tail, she began to swim. She swam for 10 whole days as they crossed the Atlantic Ocean. And then they arrived at the beaches of Europe, and Trevor and Froggy both got off, and they discovered that the beaches of Europe were in most ways very much like the beaches of America. There were some differences, like there was different food to be found under the boardwalk where people had dropped things. There were things like schnitzel and...
What's schnitzel?
Schnitzel? I don't actually know what schnitzel is. It's something they eat in Europe. I'll have to look it up. And...
How do you spell that?
Schnitzel?
Yeah.
SCHNITZL, I think. But anyway, they stayed on the beaches of Europe for several days, and then Maggie gave them a ride back to America. And Froggy caught the bus home and invited Trevor to come live with him. And Trevor said that he didn't want to come live with him, but that he wouldn't mind coming back and meeting all of his friends. And so Froggy introduced Trevor to all of them, and they had a little party at which Froggy showed them all pictures of his vacation in Europe and what the European beaches looked like. And that is the end.
Okay, storyteller's note. Schnitzel is meat that has been pounded flat, breaded, and then fried. It's a traditionally German or Austrian dish. The closest American equivalent would probably be chicken fried steak. And it is spelled SCHNITZEL, just in case you were curious. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Stories for Wonderful Children. I created today's story, but questions and witty commentary were supplied by my children. The music was created by Brandon Thompson. If you enjoy the show, please tell someone about it or leave a review on your podcast provider. Our website is storiesforwonderfulchildren.com, and you can also find us on most social media. I'm Dan Wendelin, reminding you to tell someone you love a story. Thanks for listening to Stories for Wonderful Children. I created today's story, but questions and witty commentary were supplied by my children. The music was created by Brandon Thompson. If you enjoy the show, please tell someone about it or leave a review on your podcast provider. Our website is storiesforwonderfulchildren.com, and you can also find us on most social media. I'm Dan Wendelin, reminding you to tell someone you love a story.